Hey everyone, and welcome to my first video of my Python tutorials. In this video, we're going to go ahead and install Python. We're also going to install the IDE to program Python with, and then once those are installed, we're going to create our very first Python project. Very quickly here before we start, I just want to say that if you are new to programming, Python is an excellent choice as your first programming language due to its syntax being designed for readability. Compared to other languages like C++ or C, their languages are a bit more complex, so Python is an excellent starting ground. Okay, and with that being said, let's go ahead and get it started here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Python. So a quick Google search here for Python should bring you directly to the website. I will leave a link in the description if you guys want to just go there directly. But if you click on downloads here, and you scroll a little bit down, you will see that there's the latest version, 3.13.2. So we're going to go ahead and click on download here. And if we scroll a little bit more down here, you will see that the website does recommend us the Windows installer 64-bit. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. If you have a different operating system, the website might recommend something else. But for this tutorial, we're going to go with this one here. So just a one click here, and that should start downloading. And then once it's done downloading, then you can click on the exe. And then this window will show up. So the only thing I would recommend to check here is the checkbox that says add python.exe to path. This will add pip, which is a package installer. If you are working with Python in the future and you need some packages, then by using pip directly in the terminal, you'll be able to do that. So make sure that's checked, and then we can click on install now. And this will install Python. Perfect. So now Python is installed, so we can go ahead and close this window now. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and install our IDE. I just want to point out that Python by default already has its own IDE. If you go down in the search bar here and search for IDLE, you will see idle here. Just click on that. And then if you go on File and New, this will open a window here, and this is the official IDE for Python. But I will say it is very basic, and it doesn't have a whole lot of features. By all means, if you want to use this for the next tutorials, feel free to do that. But we're going to install our own IDE here, which will have a bit more features, and it's going to look a little bit prettier here. Now, the IDE I want to choose for this tutorial is going to be PyCharm. There are more IDEs out there that you can choose from. There's Visual Studio Code, etc., etc. If you want to use any of those IDEs as well, feel free to do that. But since PyCharm is the one I'm more familiar with, we're going to go ahead and use that one. So if you search for PyCharm on Google, you can go and download PyCharm. And then make sure to not download the professional, because that one is the paid version. It will give you a trial. The one we want is PyCharm Community Edition. So just click on download. It should start downloading. All right, so once it's done downloading, we can click on the exe. And this will open the installation guide here. And if we follow the steps, there are two things I would recommend checking here. The first thing is the update path variable. And then we're also going to check the .py, create associations. Basically what this does is, since Python files have the extension .py, every time you create a py file, then it will be opened automatically with PyCharm. So unless you don't want that, you can have it unchecked, but it saves us the hassle to every time, whenever we want to open a py file, we don't have to do open with PyCharm, etc., etc. So that will do it automatically. So click on next, install, and we're going to let this install. So here, after the installation, it will ask you if you want to reboot now or reboot later, but we're just going to click on reboot later. No worries here. All right, so we're all ready to go. So now if we go in the search bar down here and search for PyCharm, there we go, we're going to find it. So just click on that. All right, so here we can skip the import. And there we go. We are officially on the first screen of PyCharm. Now let's create our first project. So if we click on new project, the first thing we should check here is for the location of where that project is going to be. I'm going to leave this as default, but you guys can click on this folder icon and browse your files to see where you want to put it. That is completely up to you. And you will notice as well that where it says Python version here, it should automatically detect the Python installation we did earlier. If it does not, then you can always click on an installation here. But if everything was done correctly on your end, you should already see the Python exe application there already there to go. All right, so now we can click on create. Let's go ahead and maximize this. All right, so we can go ahead and close this as well. All right, so now we are officially in PyCharm. All right, so now let's create our first file. So if you go into the lib folder here, this is where your files are usually located. So that's where we're going to create our file here. So if we right click on the folder lib and go on new Python file, then we can choose the name for our file. For this tutorial, we'll just name it main, but feel free to name it as you please. And then as we click enter, it will create that file. So now we can close our project solution here. And there we go. For our first application here, we're just going to simply write to the console. Now the console will be something that will appear at the bottom here. And the console is used to display errors. It's used to display outputs, a bunch of more things. So it is pretty useful when it comes to programming. So the way to write to the console is by using the word print. So print. And then let's go ahead and open the parentheses, double quotes, and then you can type the message in there on what you want to print. So in this tutorial, we're going to say hello world. And there you go. You might notice that the text is a little bit small here. If that's not to your liking, you can go up here in File, Settings, then go on Editor, Font, and you'll see here it says size 13. You can go ahead and increase that. Let's have 24 here. I feel that would be pretty big. There you go. So here it is much bigger. All right, so once you've entered what you want to output to the console in those double quotes here, go ahead and click on the play icon at the top here. And then there you go. You will see hello world displayed in the console. You will also notice that it says process finished with exit code 0. This simply means that the program was executed successfully. The code 0 means that it was done successfully. If you have an error somewhere in your code at some point, the exit code might be something else, but 0 just means everything went well here. All right, and that will pretty much do it for the first video here. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any issues with this tutorial, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will check it out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.